NİKO Bellic. You don't need 1,000 reasons to kill someone. Sometimes $1,000 is enough. When NİKO Bellic left Yugoslavia, he was leaving a war behind him, and ahead of him lay the dream his cousin Roman had described. The American dream, money, freedom, a new life. But NİKO wasn't truly searching for that dream. He was after something. He had set out from his village with 15 men during the war. Only 3 returned: NİKO, Florian, and Darko. The unit had been ambushed. Someone had sold them out. And from that day on, NİKO carried only one question within him: who? When he arrives in Liberty City, he sees that the dream Roman described is a lie. No villas, no wealth, just a taxi company, gambling debts, and threats constantly knocking at the door. While trying to escape the past, NİKO falls right into the middle of the same world. As if fate has merely moved him to a different stage. The script remains the same. Years later, he reaches the names he had been searching for. He learns that Florian has now built a different life under a different name. Darko is all that remains. And when he finds Darko, he sees no powerful enemy before him. He sees a broken, finished wreck, sunken in drugs. The traitor NİKO had built up in his mind for years stands before him as a pitiful shadow. Life has already delivered its punishment, perhaps long before. Whether NİKO kills him or lets him go, the void inside him does not fill. Because it was not Darko who opened that void, it was the war that opened it. And the war has long been over, not only inside NİKO. Even in the final scene, the game gives him no salvation. It offers 2 choices. In both, he loses. NİKO Bellic is neither fully good nor fully bad. He is a man who passed through war and could never return to who he once was. And this makes him one of the quietest tragedies on our list. ELLİE Williams. Immunity doesn't save you, sometimes it just keeps you alive longer. ELLİE was born into a ruined world. For her, normal was never a safe home, a family table, or a childhood. Normal was walls, weapons, and those who had once been human running to devour you. Her mother died right after her birth. ELLİE never knew her. She grew up in Fedra's military school. She learned to survive, to fight, to never fully trust anyone. But something small always remained inside her. Jokes, comic books, music, the light of a child resisting being extinguished. We see that light most clearly with Riley. An abandoned shopping mall, arcade machines, spinning lights, the laughter of 2 girls. For a few hours, the world seems as though it never ended. But that night, both of them are bitten. Riley turns. ELLİE does not. ELLİE is immune, and over time, this immunity becomes not a gift, but a curse, because immunity has left her with the question, why me? Riley died, others died, ELLİE lives on, and with every loss, that question grows a little heavier. During the journey with Joel, ELLİE slowly changes. Her childlike side comes out even more, and she begins to see Joel as a father figure. But this journey is certainly not an easy one. Tess is gone. Sam is gone, right before ELLİE's eyes, as a child, and her encounter with David changes everything. Before that scene, ELLİE is still a child who makes jokes and tries to make Joel laugh. Afterward, that light goes out. It never lights up again. At the hospital, Joel learns the truth. ELLİE's brain is needed for the vaccine. ELLİE will die. Joel does not accept this. He kills the fireflies, saves ELLİE, and lies to her. ELLİE doesn't fully believe him in that moment, but she wants to believe because Joel is no longer just a protector. He is the last piece of her family. Years later, when she learns the truth, she is very angry at Joel. The silence between them grows, the distance grows, but ELLİE cannot hate him completely. Because Joel did it out of love for her. A wrong love, but a real love. Just as she is close to forgiving him, Joel is killed before her eyes. Everything she could not say freezes inside ELLİE. She sets out for revenge. With every step, she grows a little darker. The last sparks of that small light inside her are extinguished one by one. When she finally catches Abby and is about to strike, she remembers Joel. Not the last moment she saw him, but their last conversation. She lets Abby go. She returns home, but Dina is gone. She picks up the guitar. She wants to play the song Joel taught her, but with the fingers she'd lost in the fight, she can no longer play properly. The guitar was the last bond between her and Joel. On the path of revenge, ELLİE had not only lost people, Dina, and her peace, she had also lost the last thing left from Joel. She puts down the guitar. She walks out of the house. Lee Everett. A moment of rage can destroy you, but that same man can also save a child's life. Both are you. Before the outbreak, Lee Everett was a history professor at the University of Georgia. He was an intelligent, educated man with a bright future. But a single moment of rage destroyed everything. He killed a senator who was having an affair with his wife. He was convicted. When the outbreak began, Lee was a convict being taken to prison. The apocalypse gave him a second chance in the most terrible way. The police car crashed. Lee escaped, and he came across a little girl, Clementine. Her family was out of the city. She didn't know whether they were waiting for her. Her babysitter had already turned into a walker. Lee saved her, and from that moment on, Clementine became his everything. Lee taught her how to survive, how to cut her hair short, how to use a weapon, who to trust and who not to. But the essential truth was this: a man who had destroyed one person's life was now living for another person's life. Clementine was not his atonement. She was his best version. In Savannah, a stranger tricks Clementine. While searching for her, Lee is bitten. He is now racing against time. But he does not stop. Infected, exhausted, with only hours left before death, he reaches Clementine. He saves her. In the final scene, Lee gives Clementine his last lessons. Get to high ground. Move alone. Be strong. Don't trust anyone too quickly. He speaks like a father, but there is no time left for him to remain one. Kratos. You can kill gods, but you cannot kill your own past. Kratos was born a warrior. He lived for victory, breathed for power. But one day, the fear of death brought him to his knees and he pleaded with Ares. Ares gave him power. In return, he demanded loyalty, and Ares used that loyalty in a way Kratos never expected. During a raid on a temple, Kratos slaughters everyone in a rage. But when the smoke clears, he realizes among those he killed are his own wife and daughter. Ares had them brought there deliberately to sever Kratos from his conscience, his love, his humanity. And it worked. Kratos killed his family with his own hands. That is why his pain is no ordinary grief. Every morning when he looks in the mirror, he sees not his own face but his own hands. He takes his revenge on Ares, becomes a god. But becoming a god does not extinguish the hell within him. On the contrary, it gives him larger weapons. In the second game, he wages war on Zeus. In the third, he tears down all of Olympus. With every god he kills, the world crumbles a little more. The seas overflow, the sky darkens. While taking his revenge, Kratos destroys everything at the same time. And at that moment, it becomes clear. He began by hating gods who killed families. But in taking revenge, he himself became their most terrifying form. Then he goes north. He marries Faye, and a son named Atreus is born. He is quieter now, more controlled. But this does not come from peace. It is the silence of a man who has been consuming himself for years, with nothing left inside him ready to burn. He constantly tells his son, "Control your rage," because he knows what happens when he could not control his own. The old Kratos would solve problems by killing them. The new Kratos holds himself back every day so as not to pass the same curse on to his son. This may seem small, but for Kratos it is a harder battle than defeating all the gods. He killed his family with his own hands. The more revenge he took, the more destruction he caused. While hating the gods, he became their mirror. And in the end, when he became a father for the second time, his greatest battle was not harming his own son. Kratos' story is not merely a tale of downfall, it is a story of healing, one that came too late and costed too much. John Marston. You make the right choice, and sometimes the right choice is your death. John Marston grew up inside the Dutch Van der Linde gang. In Dutch's eyes, they were not ordinary criminals. They were a family living freely against the rotten order of civilization. John believed this too because he had never learned to believe in anything else. But John is not a good person from the start. He avoids taking responsibility for Abigail and his son, Jack. One foot is in the family, the other in the gang. And that is precisely what makes his tragedy so powerful. John does not start as a good person. He learns to be good far too late. As the gang falls apart, Arthur Morgan gives him a second chance. He risks his own death to save John's family. John tries to make use of this chance. He builds a farm, gets married, tries to be a proper father for Jack, and for a while it truly feels hopeful. But instead of leaving the past behind entirely, John turns back to it one last time. He kills Micah Bell. He wants to settle Arthur's account. This move makes his trail visible once again. Years later, federal agents find Beecher's hope. They take his family hostage. And they tell John, if you want to be free, eliminate your old family. He completes his mission. He finds each one, finishes each one's business. He returns to his family. For a short while, everything seems to be in order. But Edgar Ross does not keep his word. Because John is living proof. He is the living trace of the old world, of dirty dealings, of a past in which the state had its hands dirty. Ross and his men come to the farm. John gets Abigail and Jack out. He himself steps out through the barn door. He walks toward the soldiers waiting with weapons in their hands. Perhaps he knows he could escape, but he buys time for his family. A man who made wrong choices his whole life finally makes the right one. And the right choice is his death. The story does not end even years later. Jack grows up, finds Edgar Ross, and kills him. The very thing John most wanted to escape comes true. His son, too, enters the same cycle. Max Payne. Sometimes you get your revenge, and that night, lying alone, you realize it changed nothing. Max Payne's life ended in a single night, but Max did not end. And that is the essence of his tragedy. When he returned home, he found attackers under the influence of a drug called Valkyr. He found his wife and his newborn daughter. The body had not yet gone cold. After that night, there was no place left inside Max to grieve. To grieve, you must stop. Max never stopped. He replaced grief with revenge, and pain with movement. He went undercover for the DEA. His closest friend was murdered, and Max was accused of this killing. He was now a target of both the criminal world and the state. But this did not stop him. He reached the woman behind Acer Corporation, Nicole Horn. He killed her. And that night, the man who appeared to have won from the outside felt completely hollow within, because his wife did not return, his daughter did not return, his old life did not return. In the second game, Mona Sachs entered his life. A professional hired killer, but also the only person who opened even slightly the door Max had kept shut for years. Max moved alongside her, not just for revenge, but for someone. And in the Max Payne universe, that is the most dangerous thing. Mona died. In the third game, Max is no longer a cop, nor the old Max. He takes a private security job in Sao Paulo. Seems like a fresh start. But wherever he goes, disaster finds him. Every protection mission ends in failure. Every death whispers the same thing to him. You can't save anyone. In the finale, he quits drinking. He gets back on his feet. He delivers justice. This is not a classic victory. It is simply a man who has hit rock bottom searching for the last right thing he can still do. In Max Payne's story, there is no meaning for a long time. There is only loss, guilt, revenge, and the heaviest exhaustion of surviving. Joel Miller. Joel didn't save the world, but he saved his world. And maybe that's all any of us could ever do. Before the outbreak, Joel was an ordinary man. A construction worker, a single father. The center of his life was his little daughter, Sarah. On the first night of chaos, a soldier fires on orders. Joel survives. Sarah dies in Joel's arms. After that night, Joel falls apart from within. On the outside, he appears to be living. He moves, he breathes, he kills people, he survives. But something inside him closes and never opens again. For 20 years, he does everything he can to avoid loving, because to love is to accept the risk of loss. And Joel has lived through that once. He cannot bear it again. Until Ellie comes along. At first, Ellie is just a job. But as the journey progresses, Joel sees something in Ellie he does not want to see. Sarah. He rejects this. He keeps his distance. He acts harshly. But at every danger, at every critical moment, he instinctively runs to Ellie. Over time, that door cracks open. Joel starts to make jokes. He listens to Ellie. Protecting her is no longer a job. It is something like breathing. When he learns the truth at the hospital, it is not a choice for Joel. He does not see the girl who will save the world. He only sees the girl he will not lose as a second Sarah. He kills the fireflies. He saves Ellie, and he lies to her. That lie comes between them and grows for years. When Ellie learns the truth, she is very angry at Joel. Joel is not sorry. If he found himself in the same situation again, he would do the same thing. Because Joel's love is not rational. It is not pure. It is not heroic either. But it is human. The desperate love of a father who lost Sarah, desperate enough to set the world on fire. Just as Ellie is close to fully forgiving him, Joel is brutally killed by the daughter of the surgeon he murdered in order to save Ellie. And Joel is gone, never having seen the forgiveness in Ellie's eyes. Arthur Morgan. Arthur was not a good man, but he was someone trying to be good, and sometimes that is enough. Arthur Morgan lost his family when he was young. Then Dutch van der Linde found him. Dutch gave him a name, gave him a place, gave him a purpose. Arthur believed in this completely because he had never known anything else. Dutch was not just a leader to him, he was a father. The gang was not just a crew, it was a family. And for years he did everything for that family. He collected debts, he beat people, he killed, because loyalty was everything. One day, while collecting a debt from a sick man, the man coughs, spits blood, and it gets on Arthur's face. Arthur contracts tuberculosis. The most tragic part is this. He catches this disease not during a heroic act, but while doing a terrible job, while beating a family man, as if it is the form his sins have taken inside his body. The real change happens not in his body, but in his mind. When Arthur understands he is going to die for the first time, he truly stops and asks, "What kind of man have I become?" And what he sees kills him a second time. Dutch is not the idealistic leader he once admired. Every "I have a plan" brings more death. Hosea is gone. The gang falls apart. Dutch grows ever more paranoid, more selfish, more blind. Arthur sees this but struggles to accept it, because losing his belief in Dutch means accepting that a great part of his own life was wasted. In the end, he accepts it, and in the time he has left, he tries to do only the right things. He tries to open a way out for John, Abigail, and Jack, because they still have a chance. Arthur does not. In the finale, Dutch abandons Arthur. The man he gave everything to his whole life turns back at the last moment and walks away. Arthur is left alone on the mountainside. He takes his last breath as the sun rises, without spectacle, without noise, without applause. But until that last breath, he gave John a future. Bonus: Tommy Angelo. Tommy didn't join the Mafia found him. Big difference, but the result is the same. Tommy Angelo is an ordinary taxi driver in 1930s Lost Heaven. He has no great ambitions. He is a man simply trying to survive, stay out of debt, and go to work every morning. One night, two men from the Salieri family get into his taxi. They are fleeing from Morello's men. Tommy is forced to save them. That night, everything changes. Salieri offers him money and protection. Tommy refuses at first, but when Morello's men smash his taxi a few days later, he understands that the option of staying neutral is no longer on the table, and he is slowly drawn in. The Mafia gives him a sense of family, it gives him respect, it gives him money. Tommy is uneasy inside, but this life warms him. Still, there is a conscience within him that never fully dies. When he is ordered to kill Michelle, he does not. When he is ordered to kill Frank, he lets him escape. In the Mafia world, mercy is not weakness. It is more dangerous than weakness. He marries Sarah. They have a child. Now he tries to be both a gangster and a father. At the family table by day, at other people's final moments by night, and he tells himself, "I can keep these two lives separate." But in the criminal world, what you do arrives home before you do. When it comes to light that Salieri is involved in the drug trade, Tommy and Paulie make an exit plan. One last job, then freedom. The bank robbery is a success. The next morning, Tommy finds Paulie dead in his home. This scene breaks Tommy, because Paulie was not just a work partner, he was the only real bond that remained in this filth. Then Sam betrays him. It emerges that Salieri has ordered his death too. The mercy he showed years ago is now the reason he is on the death list. Tommy testifies. Salieri goes to prison. He is placed in the witness protection program along with his family. A new name, a new city, a new life. And for a while, it truly seems like he has won. In 1951, while standing in his garden, two men arrive. They call him by his old name. They pass along Salieri's regard. Tommy is no longer a gangster. He is not fighting. He is just an old man standing in his garden, close to the end of his life. But for the Mafia, time has not passed. In your opinion, where would Tommy Angelo rank on this list? That's all from me for today. If you want more videos like this to keep coming, you can support me by subscribing to my channel and liking the videos. Stay healthy. Take care.